Suddenly they sent some missiles. Our people sent missiles from inside. And then we said, oh, there is a missile from Gaza.
So did you hear what he just said? What he's saying is there's going to be some missiles coming from Gaza into Israel, and they're going to blame it on Hamas, but it's going to be their missiles. So Professor John Mearsheimer reveals the two-state solution is a lie. He confirms Netanyahu and the Israeli public are united in rejecting it to pursue a greater Israel. Oh, Israel, really? I'm a little taken aback that anyone wouldn't know the two-state solution was a lie at this point. Yeah. Surely even Jon Stewart has figured that out.
I think he has.
And to Israel, all of Earth is a two-state solution, and they're working on that. So you know. So here's Mearsheimer.
I mean, Prime Minister Netanyahu has made it unequivocally clear on countless occasions that there's not going to be a two-state solution.
He has, but what if he's not there?
Unequivocally. It's a position that's widely shared in Israel. And after what's happened over the past 2 years, do you think any Israeli is going to be interested in a two-state solution? Probably the number you can count on one hand. It's just not going to happen. The Israelis have already de facto annexed Gaza and de facto annexed the West Bank. Their principal goal now is to ethnically cleanse the Palestinians out of those two areas.
That's it. Hey, just a random thought, but remember how Putin was a madman who wanted to restore the Soviet Empire? Remember that? I don't know why that pops into my head every time Bibi Milkowski and the Greater Israel Project comes up, but it does.
Yeah, it's weird how it does. A madman expanding for territory, and then once they got Gaza onto Lebanon and Syria, and I guess the parts of Iraq they wanted, right?
So this is not happening. Israel's not changing. This temporary ceasefire does not. They're going to continue to ethnically cleanse and take over Gaza and the West Bank. That's it. Here's the resident says, I think you greatly underestimate how deeply committed the Israelis are to ethnically cleansing both Gaza and the West Bank. If President Trump gets tough with Prime Minister Netanyahu, Netanyahu will just turn to the lobby and they will force Trump to back off. Let's listen to him say it. Let's listen.
I think you greatly underestimate, Piers, how deeply committed the Israelis are to ethnically cleansing both Gaza and the West Bank. The Israelis now have a situation where there are roughly as many Palestinians as there are Israeli Jews inside of Greater Israel. And this is an unacceptable situation for most Israelis. And they're completely committed to ethnically cleansing Gaza and then the West Bank. I think the evidence is overwhelming on this. Now, you say President Trump sees this as a great opportunity to prove that he's a statesman and he can bring peace to the Middle East. I think in principle that he'd love to do that. But I've written a book with Steve Walt on the Israel lobby, and there's absolutely no question in my mind that if President Trump gets rough with Prime Minister Netanyahu, Netanyahu will turn to the lobby, and the lobby will force Trump to back off. There's no way Trump is going to get tough with Netanyahu if he violates the ceasefire. Remember, he did that on March 18th.
So, or Israel just might forget about the lobby and set off one of the hidden devices they have in several locations in our country. That the reason John F. Kennedy didn't want them to have nuclear devices. So, has Piers Morgan not heard of mowing the lawn? I find that hard to believe.
I know. A well-informed guy like him?
So let's listen.
Israel is still limiting the number of aid trucks allowed to enter Gaza. It's only permitting 300. That's half the agreed number under the Trump plan. Israel accuses Hamas of violating the ceasefire deal over the return of captives' bodies.
So, but Israel would never violate a deal or a law or a treaty. I'm kidding. Obviously, they suck. So they've
obviously been historically the worst.
So now they're only letting in half the aid.
They're already starving.
And they're already saying exactly as we predicted. They're going to say Hamas has broken the ceasefire. Of course, that's what they say. Saul says, so Israel continues to starve people in Gaza because they claim Hamas hasn't done something. That's the definition of collective punishment, which is a war crime. Wow. Wow. You can't make a deal with the Zionists. Just keep that in mind.
Well, Hitler did.
Yeah, it worked out for Hitler. The UN says Israel is committing war crimes in Gaza, having killed 15 Palestinian civilians since October 10th, despite a ceasefire coming into effect. That's the UN. UN says Israeli forces continue to kill civilians in Gaza despite the ceasefire. Did anybody doubt that that's what was going to happen? I mean, what's the point of blackmailing 90% of the U.S. government with a pedo ring if you can't starve as many Arab kids as you want?
Yeah.
What's the
I mean,
point?
what's worse to do to kids, you know? Who's to say?
Branko says, after immediately violating the ceasefire and killing 9 Palestinians going home, Israel continues the starvation plan by claiming Hamas is the violator. This is why Trump didn't get the peace prize. The ceasefire means nothing if he doesn't force Netanyahu to abide by it, which he's not. He's not. Well, they did give a Nobel Prize to Yasser Arafat. No fair. Here's a former Mossad agent. Here's what he says.
Feel we finished the job?
We will never finish the job because we always have new enemies.
Why didn't we take Khomeini out?
We always have so that's an Israeli guy. We'll never finish the job. We always have new enemies. Should you at least consider that the idea that it just might be you?
If you always have new enemies.
If you always have new enemies, do you think it might be you as you bomb 8 different countries at once? Okay, here we go.
Feel we finished the job?
We will never finish the job because we always have new enemies.
Why didn't we take Khomeini out?
I tell you what, because he's not just a regular leader, he's a religious leader, and it's different.
You start a religious war?
Okay. And they can replace him. And, you know, sometimes if you think about Tehran, it looked like we suddenly stop and we made this ceasefire. But come on, let me compare it to Lebanon.
Okay.
Because it was exactly when we entered to Lebanon, to the south of Lebanon, and we destroy so many buildings with missiles and the Dahya and everything. And suddenly we got a ceasefire. There is no agreement. We just have a ceasefire. I remember they spoke about 2 months and then they extended in 1 month. And now we are acting almost every day in Syria, in Lebanon.
Post-Iran attack, we're certainly living in a safer world today.
Of course. And I hope that we will have another attack.
Well,
We'll attack them and they will attack us. Let me tell you something about Gaza.
yeah.
That at the end of the day, after we bring all the hostages, we will have agreement. But there is something that's stronger than this agreement. When Gaza will forever pay for this terror attack.
What do you see as the future for Gaza?
No future.
Parking lot? A dumping ground?
But what a
Hotels?
creative idea.
I do.
Okay, we have agreement. Suddenly they send some missiles. Our people send missiles from inside. And then we said, oh, there is a missile from Gaza.
So did you hear what he just said? What he's saying is there's going to be some missiles coming from Gaza into Israel, and they're going to blame it on Hamas, but it's going to be their missiles.
He's not against it. He hopes there will be another attack, he just said.
Yes.
He's not condemning this. He's saying this is the plan.
This is the plan.
So now we can answer them.
So you think that's also
Yay.
something that's possible?
Everything is possible. We are going to erase Gaza. We have to take the people there and send them to Libya.
And what happens with the land itself? Forever a monument to destruction?
First of all, we have all the tunnels. We need to clean the area. And we can build a big port that you can make a lot of business with the Abraham Accords. And Trump got a mission to close all the war situations all over the places. And he wants to move forward with the Abraham Accords, and he wants to include new countries, talking about Lebanon, Syria. But at the end of the day, Trump is great for us. I saw a few years ago a film. It wasn't the true story, but the deputy tried to blame the chief of CIA that he's trying to kill the president of the United States. And there is a scene that the president is playing it in golf, you know, in isolated area with green and trees in the middle of a wood. And suddenly you see a track and they open the roof.
Right.
Many drones.
Right.
And each one of them can recognize the face.
You think Hollywood is sort of a precursor to some of these things?
I can tell you that we used to watch James Bond films and take ideas for Mossad operations.
So that's the result of someone who's never had to face consequences for anything. They talk about it like it's normal, and they don't even understand that you don't see it that way. They think you're just like them because they are living mascots to narcissism. Wow. So here, this is the Greater Israel Project. It stretches into Egypt, it stretches into Saudi Arabia, stretches into Iraq, stretches into Syria, Lebanon. That's the Greater Israel Project. And here's Trump's current and former U.S. ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, and David M. Friedman performed a rendition of Sweet Home Alabama in Israel titled Sweet Home Yerushalayim, which is a Hebrew for Jerusalem.
Elon Gold singing, the comedian Elon Gold.
Is that who that is?
Yeah, the singer is Elon Gold. I know him.
No.
Yeah, Elon Gold. We'll see.
Turn it up a little. Okay.
Just 2 days and we are through. Then we start from the beginning. Hashem's holy words begin anew. We all have come to help Hatzalah, and we want to help it thrive. Based right here in God's holy city. Throughout this land, it's saving lives. Sweet home, Yerushalayim. Yeah! Where God's words ring so true. Sweet home, Yerushalayim. Lord, I'm coming home to you. But friends don't think it's Jewish.
Okay. I had enough
Jesus
of that.
Christ,
I
Elon.
can't take that. Wow.
Jesus, that was... I mean,
Whoa.
You better hope Hashem's not real, because I would strike you down if I was him.
You know, and you know what? It makes sense, because whenever I'm in Alabama, I think to myself, this has to be exactly like what Israel's like. Except without the humidity. Am I right? And what a wasted talent that Mike Huckabee went into politics. He has the makings of a rock star. I don't mean the actual job title. I mean the energy drink.
I assume he took over the crack operation from Clinton when he was governor. That's what I just assumed.
This is nuts. So if you want to hear me make jokes about this, I'll see you this Sunday in Irvine, and we're going to Australia, Burbank, California, Pottstown, and we'll be in Waikiki January 11th. The ticket link's not up yet, but it will be soon. Go to jimmydore.com. October 19th, we'll be in Irvine, California. Then we'll be in Australia. Then we'll be in Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving. And then Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.